As we look towards Monaco and the battle between Verstappen and Charles, how do you feel that Monaco is going to add storylines to that? What role do you think it will play in the championship? And ultimately, if you're Charles Leclerc at the moment, how do you get your mind right going in, knowing all the external pressure that exists for him to perform this weekend? I suppose, sorry, the question is, what do you think about the Monaco Grand Prix?
What I think about the Monaco Grand Prix? Qualifying's great.
Fair enough.
And that's it. Like, I mean, it's like the race leaves a lot to be desired, but, you know, it's funny. Like, they say, oh, you can't pass nowadays. It's like, you couldn't pass at any stage during the damn Grand Prix existence. Like, I remember, if you watch the 1966 movie Grand Prix, the commentator says it's almost impossible to pass at Monaco. It's like, well, when has it ever been possible to pass at this track then? Like, and back then there were no barriers. So
it's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean, like, if need be, you can go on the footpath if you really wanted to get past Lorenzo Bandini, but nowadays you can't do that. And it's much more close, much more sort of, you're much more cocooned into the circuit. So it's a spectacle above anything else. It's not a great racing track, but qualifying is still one of the greatest spectacles of the year because they're right, 10 tenths up against the barriers, absolutely pushing the limits of both the car and the track and of themselves, which is obviously what you want to see. It's pure, in the sense of there's no runoffs, like if you get it wrong, there's just Armco for you. If you hit it hard enough, the Mediterranean.
Absolutely. And with more kind of specifically in the context of the championship this year, with Verstappen leading it now and Charles coming off a really unfortunate power unit DNF. Obviously, Max won it last year from what was effectively pole because Charles didn't make it to the start of the race. How important do you think it is for Charles Leclerc to almost close that storyline and maybe answer some doubters after we've seen him make a few mistakes so far in this year's championship, but something that to some extent is going to happen to every driver. But for Charles specifically, do you think Monaco is almost a monkey on his back?
Well, I mean, it would be, wouldn't it? Like, hasn't even finished a race in any capacity at his home track. Like, it's obviously, it's got to be playing on his mind. I think heading into this round, Ferrari will be the top dog going into it because it's more handling characterized rather than down to the power of the car. So yeah, it'll be more Ferrari territory, but in this case, Carlos Sainz has something to prove. And I think this will be a round where Carlos will finally suss out his voodoo, I guess. This year's cars are going to bring up some very interesting results here. We already saw some interesting results last year, where Merc were inexplicably slower at that track. Aston Martin were a bit better. McLaren was a bit better as well. Like it sort of just went all over the place. This year might be a bit more exaggerated because new regs, there's constant changing anyway throughout the grid. McLaren's going back and forth in terms of pace. Like we're hearing that Alfa Romeo are great in the slow speed corners. Well, what's Monaco got a lot of? Slow speed corners. So like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, it's great to go into a championship not really knowing what's going to happen. It's even better going into a race and not knowing what's going to happen. I think there will be a lot of different things going on this weekend, but when it comes to what I think will play out, yeah, Carlos Sainz will be my sort of pick for victory this weekend.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it typically plays out in these sports storylines. Like there's those sort of 3 or 4 rounds of, oh, they're struggling, or should they be out of a seat, or, has he lost it? All that same sports stories, and then just takes that one good result, and all of a sudden, because people's memories are only as good as the last race,
I think, well, something else more kind of non-specific that I've got written down in my notes is something that came to mind while I was kind of looking forward to Monaco and remembering what I like about the Grand Prix. but I wanted to get your opinion on, do you think that corner names are better than corner numbers? Because Monaco,
Yes.
you do. Okay, why?
Well, I mean, put it to you this way. We all know, for example, what Larascas is at Monaco. Do you know what corner number it is?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't.
The thing is with corner numbers is you're having to sort of trace back in your mind, okay, what corner is this? Oh, hang on, is this classified as a corner? Because sometimes things will be classified as corners when they're not, or sometimes they will be classified, or sometimes they won't be classified when they should be. You know, like for example, at the Red Bull Ring, like
Oh yeah,
how many turns are there? Is the big kink a corner because you do have to turn the wheel? Oh, it's not because it's part of a straight. Is it or is it not? Like, you know, like because it changes. It changes based on the series. You know, like different series have different views on how many corners there actually are. Whereas Larascas is Larascas, Cops is Cops. It doesn't change based on what the series sort of perceives it to be. The corner name is the corner name, and it gives the circuit character as well. The commentator saying going into Larascas is a bit more invigorating than saying going into turn 19.